I'd like to thank fellow nerd Fotita for pointing out some Tolkien references in Star Trek Discovery this week. Also, the name reminds me that logic is a pretty flower that smells bad. Hello out there, I'm the oldest nerd. In Season 3, Episode 9, Terra, Firma, we focused mostly on Giorgio. It seems that we have a situation as it was presented in the last episode where Giorgio is starting to unphase she's starting to pixelate, it looks like, under examination. And we are led to, once again, the mysterious character who it does not dress like the rest of the Federation does. He wears glasses, and he seems to know a lot about parallel universes. He comes to Culber and tells him there's nothing in the sickbay that's going to help her, and proceeds to talk about a situation in which a Starfleet officer by the name of Yor crossed parallel universes as caused by the actions of a Romulan mining ship. Now, what this does is that it syncs the Kelvin universe canon along with regular Star Trek canon, because now, despite the fact that we know that the Kelvin universe knew about the Prime universe because of Spock crossing over, we now know that the Federation is aware of the Kelvin universe and that it was there, and that Yor, the officer in question, died as a result of crossing from their universe into ours. He has somewhat of a TNG uniform. Of course, the cast of Star Trek in the Kelvin universe wore somewhat of an original series uniform, so it kind of falls in that the timelines are somewhat parallel, although different. Anyway, very interesting episode here. And after all of this is established, the sphere data tells them that there is a planet that they can go to that might be able to help her. Now, it was recommended that they just put Giorgio in the brig until she dies, but the idea of just taking them to a planet and leaving them behind is something that was done in the second pilot of the original series, where Gary Mitchell becomes dangerous, and their plan is to strand him on Delta Vega. In this case, they're hoping to be able to get Giorgio some help as she goes to this planet that is just short of the Gamma Quadrant. The Gamma Quadrant is where the wormhole from Deep Space Nine led to, and it was where the shapeshifters and various other types of aliens came from, and caused much of the plot in Deep Space Nine. At any rate, what we have here is a planet we've never been to, but a situation that's very similar to the City on the Edge of Forever. Now, this was a different planet that they went to, with Kirk and Spock going through the Guardian of Forever. However, this particular gatekeeper is just a guy who we would recognize from playing a part in Law and Order, sitting with a derby hat in a lounge chair, smoking a cigar, and reading a newspaper, and answering in riddles, very much the way that the Guardian did. Now, an interesting thing is, as they send Giorgio off, they give her a bracelet that has a green light when she's okay and a red light when she's on the edge of death. And this is kind of interesting in the 32nd century technology, when everything is a holographic display or a voice readout or things like this, that there would only be a red or a green light. But it was pointed out to me by fellow nerd Fotita that there is some Tolkien reference where it was green when they were okay and red when they weren't. So we have this parallel here, not only with the hidden ring in Tolkien and the hidden bracelet that Georgiou conceals when she moves into the mirror universe. And also the doorway, very much in the way of through a portal to get to Narnia. There is the similar kind of thing in Doctor Who, where the TARDIS itself is just kind of a portal into time. And Douglas Adams revives that whole idea by having just a doorway in the side of a cliff that is a portal into another dimension. So these kind of things are well-worn ideas, but presented with some interest here. And it's also interesting that as Georgiou arrives in the mirror universe, she is caught in the same kind of place as Jim Kirk when he first went into it. He has to suddenly act differently. And while we think of Georgiou as still being the Emperor, she has been with the Discovery crew for a while and has changed. She is starting to see just how brutal her society is. Now, when she arrives, she finds that she is sometime before the attempted coup by Lorca. So Lorca has not yet crossed over into the Prime Universe in order to command Discovery. So this backs up to backstory of episodes we've already seen, and her attempt to change what has happened so far. For instance, in the case of what happens to Burnham is something that violates the timeline of what she's done before. So it makes you wonder kind of if they have created a new timeline in the mirror universe as well as in the Prime universe. So these kind of things can get kind of involved, so we won't go too far into that. But what we see is great fun. We see that she arrives on board the Discovery, and we have the entire Discovery crew as mirror universe versions of themselves. And there's talk of Lorca. I expect that we will see him in part 2. Meanwhile, we see Tilly as Killy. The first time it was our Tilly impersonating Killy, but this is the original Killy who is warning Georgiou that there's a plot against her. She knows about it because it's already happened, and she is trying to get to the people before they get to her, which is why I think they're going to see Lorca. Now, where this is going to end up, I don't know, but some way or other, she is going to find some way to cure herself and return to Discovery. I don't think that she's going to stay in the mirror universe, because there's been some thought that the mysterious man with the glasses is part of Section 31, and we may have a Section 31 show with Georgiou in the 32nd century, which would be interesting because, of course, you don't have to worry about violating any canon here. Even though they're secret and could go at any time period, this is something that would steer clear in the same way Discovery has, and it's probably a good idea if they decide to do it that way. Nevertheless, it is a most interesting episode. We find out also that the SOS sent by a Federation vessel was commanded by Kelpians, and we still don't know what that means as far as the burn is concerned. But there are still 4 episodes left, so we will find out more about this. So, I already heard from you. We came a little late with this. I had some personal matters to deal with yesterday, so we didn't get out on the usual schedule. But do go to the comments. Let me know what you think about this episode. I think it's one of the best. And please also subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Until next time, don't go far.